Good evening, everypony, and welcome to Commentary Magic Stream on today, Sunday, December 1st, 2019. I am, as always, Grandpaws.
Big Cheese?
Arcat and
Ivory Starlight. I'm tired.
I'm full.
I'm hungry.
One of these is not like the other.
I'm a large pile of puckwudgies.
Spoilers.
What? No. No such thing. Anyway, what are we doing here today?
Well, there's this set that came out recently, and it has new cards in it. And some of those new cards are good, and some of those new cards are puckwudgies. And
Spoilers?
those cards, spoilers, no such thing. And all those cards can theoretically go in decks. And some madmen and women have attempted to put them together into decks. So we're going to look at those.
Really?
And we're going to, well, yeah, we're going to look at a few and see kind of what's going on and what some of the options that exist in this brand new meta post-core rotation might be. Spoilers. There's a little bit of pink today.
There's also a little bit of yellow.
Our first deck has 0 pink.
Our first deck does have 0 pink, shall we?
Our first deck only has like
Quiet. Shush.
7 unique cards.
Shush. Okay, alright, fine. Alright, let's just get this one out of the way right now so we cannot talk about it ever again, okay? Look, it's the Puckwudgie deck. There are 1,006 Puckwudgies. And that's
Why
it.
1006?
I don't know.
Because it's 9,001 upside down. They were holding the scanner upside down.
That's terrible.
Is that really why 1006 became a thing?
Yes, it was a reference that Bugle made in reference to the Team 4-Star video.
Oh, right. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, he made it like 3 months ago, and we've been going since then.
Right. See. Oh my god. Okay. Alright, so if it's not obvious, this is a bad deck.
Yeah.
So you're doing this and you're hoping to High Celestia that your opponent does not replace your Infiltrating, which you should be using to make a Changeling token in yellow. Or if you really want to, have some modicum of safety here, you can switch to Novo to guarantee you'll be able to spam Puckwudgies for however long it takes your opponent to beat you, because you're playing the next best thing to a Goldfish deck. Or actually, no, it's more like a Yellowfish deck. So you can take this into Harmony at your own risk, because although you're basically Nightmare Moon and Yellow Parasprite proof, what are you going to do? Discard a Puckwudgie? That's fine. You're going to get Destiny drained, and then I'm going to laugh at you.
Or someone's going to play a harsh judge.
Puckwudgie should have experience.
Can you even imagine? Can we not?
Turn 1, double Nightmare Moon.
Alright. What else you got?
About 990-something Puckwudgies left? That would be the answer. Now, you could do Nurturing Napier. I think a lot of people are also going to do Novo. And by a lot of people, I mean when someone just assembles a pile of cards and declares them to all Puckwudgies. If you actually assemble a deck of 1,006 Puckwudgies properly proxied, please take a photo and send it to us so we can share it with the world. We will give you full credit. Maybe even some promos, knows.
Alright, so you can take this into basically any format at your own risk. And you know what? Shine on, you crazy diamond.
I would personally advise you not to do that. I think you'll find it's not very effective against all types.
Hey, this beats Kevin.deck.
It does beat Kevin. It does
in the
beat
sense
Kevin
that in the sense that Kevin.deck is not a legal deck.
I don't know what you're talking about.
In the sense that a deck equivalent to.
There's 15 sets of 3 hubs of 202 vanilla entry.
No, you could also run this with which would be awfully thematic as they become surrounded by puckwudgies.
Oh, I'm assuming when you got cut out, you said the student 6 main.
Yes, the student 6 main.
I mean,
It would be flavorful.
yeah, sure, I guess.
But you want to know what would also be flavorful? Including the Sphinx Troublemaker in any deck?
Moving on, then.
Now, so the problem here is that you might as well not even bother including anything else here, because your odds of drawing something that's not a puckwudgie, not real good.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, if you want to play a 45-card puckwudgie deck with 42 puckwudgies and 3 puckwudgie troublemakers, that's probably the point at where you start including non-puckwudgie friend cards.
Yeah, so you've got, what is it? It's like a 2% chance to draw something that's not a puckwudgie in your opening hand.
Not great.
Less, but
Yeah, so we're not even going to be considering anything other than puckwudgie friends.
Hey, never tell me the odds.
I just told you the odds. It's 1.78% chance.
Fair.
Okay, fine. You want a mulligan? There, it's like 3% now. Have fun.
Alright, cool. Let's move on.
To an actual deck.
Now, I believe that you are telling lies.
This is almost an actual deck.
It's pretty close.
It is almost an actual deck.
There's cards. You can use cards in here. You got Loyal Pony.
you need to take out all
you
the
got
pink cards.
the new
that
Silver
aren't
Stream.
pinky.
Okay, so as is tradition, with the new set comes a new mosh pit. And I'm breaking the thing out of Harmony and into Core. So the all colors bit went out the window, but it's still all commons and uncommons and mostly low cost.
Spitfire doesn't belong.
Mostly.
It's the only thing higher than 2.
I don't
Pinkie
think
Pie
you're.
doesn't count.
I don't think you're gonna be playing Spitfire.
Why not?
You're discarding Spitfire to draw extra cards. It's great.
When are you ever going to have enough cards to discard to hand limit?
Pinky! Pinky's ability.
Yeah, you press X and
Sure.
lose cards.
And then gain cards, and it's great.
Yeah.
Hey, look, you have resource removal here, too.
Yeah, I know, right? It's great.
You got, like, hard removal and resource removal and, like, power boosting, and there's actually a disgusting amount of removal in here. I'm not okay with this.
No, I'm 100% okay with this because I've got removal everywhere. But you know what? Since this is a core deck, it lacks a certain gravitas. Now, as we all know, putting a limit on Pinkie Pie is just asking for a containment breach, and breaking some of the spirit of Mosh Pit rules is exactly what's going to happen. I can hear the sirens in the background already.
Okay. What are we about to do?
Make it better?
We're
That's a
removing
lot.
We're removing the chains and adding even more removal and even more annoying things.
That's a
Why
lot.
are
I
you
think-
adding Poppy?
I see the wow, I am blanking on the name of the Pillar Mares. I see the Pillar Mares.
Pillar Bears, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sea Poppy, Flurry Heart, and Party Mare.
Why are those the Pillar Bears?
Because you can line them up in a triangle and they're posing.
Wow.
Nice.
It's true. It's true. They are. Wow. Okay, so let's take a look at this for a moment. First off, you have plenty of random just on your main alone, but you also have random through the Party Mare and the Baby Flurry Heart, so good show. Second, you have Gabby for card draw, who is obviously obscenely good the earlier you get her down. You have Pinkie Pie Honorary Yak for further card draw. You have Pinky Sense to top deck set things when you need to. You have Bait and Switch to replace problems. You have nigh infinite removal on your main, plus Professor of Laughter, plus Belly Flop, Gross. And royal swanifying to even get them troublemakers. Why did you do this? Why did you make this a thing?
Honk.
Honk?
There's a silver stream. You
There
can
is a
honk.
silver stream.
There's also several actual honks in the background of royal swanifying.
Untitled Goose deck.
This is actually kind of similar to a pink deck, a mono pink deck we saw at Gen Con 2018. The only thing is that deck did not have any resource removal. Thanks to Winterzilla, we have resource removal now. Isn't it great?
Yeah, Mono Pink's got resource removal. It's great.
Sounds terrible.
This is...
Yeah.
This is rough.
Right. See, so
Jeez.
so that's the goal here, is that everything in this deck should be like, now what? As soon as it hits the field.
Yeah,
And-
surprise party notes being the one exception, but you mentioned that was there to reduce your hand
No.
size early to make flipping pinky
Right.
easier.
No, that's the secret tech.
Yeah,
It costs 0.
it's secret tech.
You just go ahead and like play a bunch of those for no effect just to get rid of them. It's great.
What's even better is you can start with a Pinky Sense, then activate Pinky Sense to put another card from your hand on top of your deck that you don't want, then play Surprise Party Notes to tuck that card on the bottom so you don't have to draw it again, in case you didn't want to discard it, but you wanted it later.
So is the best play 3 pinky, like opening hand, 3 pinky cents, 2 surprise party notes, and 1 silver stream?
Now, the best open hand is 2 copies of Pinky Sense, 1 copy of Gabby, and you don't care what the other 3 cards are. You play Pinky Sense, activate, flip Pinky for 1 AT, and then, or I'm sorry, play Gabby for 2 AT, and then flip Pinky
But
for
you
0.
can't play Gabby.
Yes, you can. You start with
Pinky
Buckball.
Sense?
You start with
Buckball
Buckball strategy.
Sure.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get used to thinking like that.
Yep.
I'm sure it won't be the only deck that uses Buckball strategy. I'm sure there's probably a few here that will use that.
Yeah,
Oh.
no one's gonna use buckball strategy
No.
at all. It will never see play. Never see play.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I haven't been this scared of a mono pink deck in a long time.
yeah. Pinky's done dancing. It's time to bring out the big guns.
I'll probably build this. This is a fun deck.
Yeah,
This is
I-
not going to be fun to play
I-
against.
I
can
heard
guarantee
you-
that.
I heard you say a word. I don't think you know what that word means.
fun.
There's pinkies all over the place. She's all about fun.
Yeah, that's what she's about.
Yeah. It's about her fun, not about your fun.
Uh-huh. All right, what's next?
Let's see here.
And we'll share these lists in the on the Reddit post and probably in Discord as well,
On the Twitch and YouTube.
and the
posts.
Twitch. We'll share them everywhere.
What's next, he asks?
Oh no. Do I know what's
Rah-rah.
next? Nah, rah rah.
I should-
Rah rah
I should hope you know what's
Sorry,
next, because you
rah,
built
rah,
it.
rah.
rah rah.
Alright, so
Deck has too many cards in it.
explain your reasoning here.
There's a banned card, except it's not banned anymore, is it?
It's not banned anymore, but Ponyhead hasn't been updated. Hint, hint.
Nah. It's not banned in core. What are you on about?
It's not banned in core, but it doesn't appear on the filter.
Hmm.
Yeah, because that one, yeah. But
So there was a comment made by Meticulous Talks over the weekend as they did their Slogfest and joined us down the descent to madness. I think, didn't we determine their stream went like 5 hours?
It was a while, yes.
I think it was 5 hours, which
was
the
that
only
longer
reason
than
it-
this?
well, the only reason it was less is because it's only 2 of them.
Okay, I was like, better not have been shorter. Or sorry, longer.
And the comment that was made was that it was assumed by at least one of the individuals that Rarity Booming Business was never going to see any attempt at constructed play.
So I think that's a crime against fabulosity that cannot go uncorrected.
So we're going to fix that right now. Out of love, of course. Not out of any form of spite. Unless you look at Bodyguard, who is completely full of spite.
There's a lot of cards that look like they're full of spite here. Cadence looks angry. Grogar and Winterzilla and Changeling Mimics all look angry. A lot of spite going on.
High Alert's kind of angry.
There's a little bit of spite.
What I'm hearing here is I want to speak to the manager.deck.
Yeah, it's a little Karen. It's a little bit of Karen. So the idea here is that if your opponent is playing an aggro deck, and there are going to be a lot of people playing aggro decks, especially with yellow being as powerful as it is, and we'll get to that in a moment, they are often going to be trying to start face-offs frequently. And if you can punish them by making them retire all of their non-token friends to their home limit, then that's a nice advantage. Or at least most of their non-token friends to home limit. So you want to try to maximize the use of Rarity's boosted ability. To give her time to do so, you want to set up a Troublemaker wall. Changeling Linux does a great job, Winterzilla is obviously useful in getting rid of opposing resources, and Grogar is... well,
himself.
Yeah. He's Grogar. The thing is, if your opponent is retiring all their friends at the end of their turn, and they have to retire non-token friends first, then that means that if you have copy Bodyguard, not only is your opponent losing valuable friends, you're gaining prepared tokens to set up behind said Troublemaker wall. That seems pretty good. It's like you can use that fodder to belly flop stuff or filter through problems to find a good one. And if your opponent is constantly retiring things, then hey, you can reanimate it later with Cozy Glow. That also seems nice. And while we're in pink-white, and while the card is legal, I guess we'll run Main 6 because, you know...
And cornered.
And cornered.
You hate...
Because you hate life. Yes, correct.
I don't think you hate life that much, because you're only running one of each of those.
But just in case the opponent isn't sending their friends home fast enough, we're going to Pinkie Pie and Twilight bait and switch to replace problems and make them deal with their home limit even more. Okay, cool. So we get to start with searching high and low if the opponent is playing a bit more of a slower start, or we can start with Royal Breakfast if we think that the opponent is going to have a very easy to confront problem. A Generous Pony or a Professor of Laughter can help us confront early on and get the problem face-off going. That'll get our main boosted. And then we just kind of sit and chill. Well, chill. We sit and stall. But not actually stall.
Yeah, don't actually stall. That's against the rules.
For the record, I don't think this is I don't think this list is set in stone. Professor of Generosity is a card I would really like to include in here, but I just couldn't find a slot for it in the time that I was building this ahead of time. But it's at least a proof of concept. And the nice thing is, if Bane 6 eventually finds its way back into people's hearts with an iron spike or something, and then again, well, there's your 2-3 right there. Also, Aurora, Barry, and Alice are not only excellent at finding you your main 6 or your miss main, but also preventing your opponent from playing either of those. So there you go.
Interesting. I'm not sure if I were running this, I'm not sure I would keep the main 6, but I would definitely at least try it a few games, just because, I mean, it's main 6. You have to.
It's so impactful.
I mean, yeah.
You gotta try it, right?
Yeah. Yes, you do.
And you've got a little bit of other removal in here. It's gonna work. Professor of Laughter, Discord is surprisingly very good.
This deck has 3 1-ofs.
Yeah? And they're all designed to support each other.
So if it ends up not really working out, well, find something else.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Run 2 copies of Main 6 and 2 copies of Cornered in a deck where you want as many Unicorn tokens as possible?
I mean,
Probably
if you
not.
got Bodyguard, well, I guess Bodyguards doesn't help here.
No. Grogar is actually a really nice inclusion here because it gives you a method of mass frighten if your opponent somehow manages to assemble a vast quantity of tokens at a problem, and dodges any attempt to defeat it by your opponent and can also put a Changing Mimics directly into play, which is just kind of rude. Although I think it enters play face down?
It does.
Yes.
So the timing would have to be very precise in order for it to be effective, but it is an option nonetheless.
Hey, you can find a Winter Zealot with it if you really want to.
Yeah.
No stick for you.
All right, I think that's enough on Rah 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 for now. She's an evil pony who does evil dances, does evil dresses. I don't know, something.
Where? Yeah.
All right, now let's get to some actual madness.
What, like, what do we, wait, are we talking like combo here?
I don't know, are we? Combo is madness. Let's talk about combo.
I think just based on the number of dilemmas in this deck, there's shenanigans here.
No, it's fine.
I don't believe you.
Fluttershy
Every
is so
time I-
scared of what she's done.
Every time I say that, you never believe me. Why do you never believe me? How long have we known each other? How have you not learned to... He's right not to trust me.
I mean, it's this thing called learning. You see, we recognize a pattern.
That's fair.
Pattern recognition.
So, let's take a moment to talk about a card that Meticulous Talks also rated as a 5 yesterday. Not a 1. And that surprised me. Pegasus Royal Guard. So this is a card we talked about a bit on our stream, and I think most of us were pretty warm to it. If you get its ability early enough, and you can start making multiple copies of it, it can be very difficult to permanently remove that effect from the field without wiping the entire board. And setting Pegasus Royal Guard up early with a very easy to confront problem deck and lots of dilemmas means that you can potentially use all those tokens to do really silly things. But the tokens are still just 2 power, so we should probably find a way to put them. Enter Critter Choir. Remember this card back in Sequestria when Octavia Yellow was running around? It was 4 AT for 21 total power. Yeah. It's still really good.
Octavia was fun.
Octavia was fun. This deck is also fun, and I believe can generate just as much if you have the Royal Guards. In fact, even more so. The problem with using a deck like this as just combo list is if you're just saving up your AT and then going after this one big blitz turn, your opponent probably won't have had to interact with you in many ways, and so they're going to have all of their interaction tools ready and available, assuming they haven't discarded them. So you're likely going to face a lot of disruption. The better thing to do is to try to play aggressively early without spend too many AT or cards, and then eventually close out the game in a single burst turn when your opponent's defenses are down, when they've spent all their AT to try to DFO back. And that's where Whammy comes in handy. You can use Pegasus Royal Guard and Critter Choir early to get yourself set up on the board. Then when you start a DFO and would retire to home limit, you can return that same Critter Choir back to your hand, and it basically costs you nothing. Then you can play it again on a later turn, and boom, there you go. Goldie Delicious can also do a similar thing.
Offhand comment here of Quitter Choir, which is Zephyr Breeze found his calling in a barbershop quartet or something.
Nice. I like it. There are, of course, 11 dilemmas here, and Fluttershy kind of likes dilemmas. She likes problems in general, and that's another reason to be aggressive with a deck like this, is every time you can cause one of your problems to rotate, assuming another problem's entering play, there you go. There's one AT and one more deeper into your deck.
It's like draw is good or something. It's like getting action tokens is good. It's like causing face-offs is good.
It is, in fact, like all of those things are good. Knowing how to stagger your token generation with Pegasus Royal Guard is a big part of making this deck work. But if you can last until the mid-game, you'll be surprised at how easily you can close it out. Also, having like 8 Pegasus Royal is just the best feeling in the world.
Yeah. So I think this is the deck that elicited the "What do you like most?" Septuple Confront.
Yes, correct. Which has in fact been accomplished.
Multiple times now, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm. By multiple people.
That's just concerning.
Who can get the 8th problem in there, though? Someone needs to pull that off. I want to see someone pull the 8th Confront off.
That's going to be a hard one.
But it's possible. It is. It is a greater than 0 probability.
I feel like that's going to be the lopsided game when that ends up happening.
I mean...
Yeah, I think it would be. I think at that point it might be a concession, but who knows? Your opponent might be running some kind of weird infinite nonsense.
Wait, so are you implying that if the opponent ever gets their 5th dilemma out, or their 6th dilemma out, in what would be an octuple confront, that you should concede on the spot to prevent them from getting bragging rights?
Depends on how much of a salt bag you are.
I am eternally salty.
Or just make you carry the 50-pound brick next time.
No, I don't want to.
It's not 50 pounds.
It is 50 pounds.
It's 50 pounds.
Maybe not now, but it was originally.
It's probably getting even heavier from all the moisture it's picked up.
Going back and forth from Canada? Yeah, I believe so.
Well, even though these are a few of the decks that we have been messing around with, we are far from the only ones who have been brewing. Do we want to take a look at some patron decks?
Absolutely.
Patron decks sound good.
Okay, let's see. First up here, we have Cursed Chords submitted a deck called Action at Distance, and I personally would like to be like, this deck really needs Spooky Ruins, merely so you can call it Spooky Action at a Distance.
Wow.
You're welcome. Okay, but this was submitted as a competitive aggro deck. Cursed finds that the hat shenanigans that this deck can pull often take a backseat to the more traditional yellow beat them with kindness aggro strategy, but hopes that the competitive nature of the deck doesn't need to come at the cost of removing the hats.
Yeah, it's not going all in on the hats.
No, it's not. But I think that's probably fine. Because as much as Flitter loves hats, Cloud Chaser doesn't like hats, and there's probably a reason for that.
Does this deck only have one changeling in it?
Looks like it to me.
It may only have one changeling, but Patagium's kind of good if you're going to use it to get a confront to flip main over. Especially with lacking lesson plans.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 3.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a lost opportunity here because you might like to use it for entry, but it's still pretty good at that.
I'm a little surprised to see no Buckball strategy here, or Buckball Championship, whatever it's called.
You had it right the first time, Buckball strategy.
Buckball strategy, which would give you access to Shift and Canterlot Citizens and Brian right off the bat.
Oh, you cut out there. Yes, you did not see it.
No, I am surprised to not see that here because it would give you access to Day Shift, Canterlot Citizens, and Brian right off the bat.
Yes.
The Hats strategy here is interesting on some of the valuable friends that you really want to keep around. Day Shift, Novo, Citizens is nice, of course, as well. It's less useful on cards like Bunyip, and it's kind of a non-bow in that the two aunts can cause you to retire a resource to prevent a Frighten, but Bunyip's Frighten is a cost, so you can't circumvent it that way.
Right. Like, I don't think that's the point here. I think the point here is to be able to protect your pieces like Day Shift and Canterlot Citizens.
Sure.
And it's admittedly a little bit of a non-bow with Novo because you
Put a gallon.
generally don't want her to have a lot of power.
That's a fair point. Yeah, that's an interesting choice with the Hats route. I can see why it would end up going a more traditional yellow beat 'em down strategy.
But I do like the protection that you can get here in mid to late game just by saying, you know what? No, you're not going to scare that.
Scurry.
Yeah, I would actually be interested to see maybe in place of Novo, Yona coming in here, and then being able to replace Yona's persistent Frighten with the gown retirement.
Oh dear God.
Yeah. I hate Yoda.
That's pretty
Yoda's
spicy.
great.
A walnut perfect yak smash.
Also, you all heard it here first. Cheese hates Yona.
Yep, I heard it.
Yona is best student, but I hate that card.
Qualifications.
Yona is best, and this is fair.
Honk.
A couple of interesting tweaks could definitely be made. I would be interested to see how things worked out. I think dropping the Novo and running the Yonas would give some added disruption that would be very nice and give some better synergy with the two aunts. And yeah, little light on resource removal too for being a yellow deck. Oh wait, no, it has Brian. Okay, right. That card. What does the thing?
Yes. That card. What does the thing?
Okay, ignore that part. That's fine. All right. Yeah, cool. Neat deck. Thank you, Kirsten. Who's next?
Let's see. We've got Blue Fairy with a deck called Growing Confidence in Growing Confidence. I might be taking a small artistic liberty there.
Growing confidence in growing confidence.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like the name. I like the dilemmas.
Okay, so this is a semi-competitive aggro deck that's trying out some older cards that haven't seen much play but might just have been waiting for a main like Growing Confidence. Blue notes that both Kool-Aid Yak and Bunyip, while in an earlier version of this, just didn't seem to be working out quite as well as she'd hoped.
Oh, Kool-Aid Yak. Okay. I was like, what?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Like a bit.
I mean,
What did you think it was referring to? There's only two
I
Yoda
had no
cards.
idea. I was like, what are you talking about?
There are 2.1 Yona cards with an asterisk.
It's been like a year.
better late than never, I guess.
I mean, that's fair. I had something that came up like that recently as well. I can't blame Cheese for that.
Wait, what did you forget to add? Oh, where's your win con? Right, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So semi-competitive list. She wasn't a fan of Yona. What else were her notes?
Went over the notes there. I'm looking at this and I'm noting a lack of a card that I'm really surprised to not see in a pink deck.
Especially a pink deck that looks like it has some pretty cheap friends. Would that be Belly Flop?
Because if there's one thing I love, it's hard removal.
Yeah. The Petunia Paleo is a nice, cheap friend that serves as a good retire outlet. But there's no friend stealing that exists in this deck. And if you're going to be retiring a friend, it's probably going to be more impactful, like you say, or to dismiss an opposing friend than just get some problem deck knowledge. So maybe that would be a spot where you could drop that out.
Perhaps. That calming is going to catch people off guard, though.
I do see one thing here, though, that I am a huge fan of for flavor, and that is Silverstream, the cheap Silverstream friend, transforming into Silverstream Fish Out of Water to put one of your problems into play and trigger growing confidence.
To replay the Silverstream.
Yes.
Petunia's gone. Sad.
It's been updated to include... you've got the Holiday Spirits on there at the end.
That would mean Petunia got replaced with Belly Flop.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
For a cost of 180. Oh, it is a cost of 180. Or just 280 to get a 4-power friend and put the Silverstream into play at a new problem. Oh, that's really irritating.
Uh-huh.
Wait, which thing are we looking at here?
You play the 180 cost Silverstream, then transform it to Fish Out of Water to put the top card of your problem deck into play as a dilemma. That triggers growing confidence, drawing you a card and getting you an AT back to play that original Silverstream again at the new problem.
Yeah.
That sounds really
or
obnoxious.
Wherever.
I like it.
It's really irritating.
At that point, you have paid 2 AT, gotten 5 power on the board, and you have another problem to work with.
That seems kind of good.
1, 2, 3, 2. You paid 3 AT if you replay the Silverstream.
Well, wouldn't the AT that you gain from growing confidence wash out?
You still have to have played the original Silverstream to begin with.
It might have been there somewhere. Maybe you used it early on.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you play that early for the intimidation factor. Like, go ahead, try to confront that problem. I dare you.
Exactly.
Yeah, the phantom eccentric. I love that term.
Right. I'm liking that card more and more because this is mean. I really enjoy that.
I never would have thought of using growing confidence with Fish Out of Water, and I really like that combination. Especially with the abstract artist.
That's disgusting. I love it.
Really cool. The shells are gone too. I wonder if those shells became Professor of Laughter for even more removal.
It would help the entry situation here. This is a little bit lacking on pink entry.
Yeah, I see 6 for the pink entry right now, and no infiltrations.
I wonder if the motivational speeches would be better as fires.
Let's see. The only pink cards that you wouldn't be able to play would be the Pinkie Pie and Skystar and the Dilemma.
It does lock you out of those. And that's a little bit unfortunate, but
Sorry, go ahead.
And it also gets you Tempest protection.
The Tempest protection is nice. It's a bit rough with both the Paleo and the Shelly and Sheldon's gone, because it means that Pinkie and Skystar are the only multicolor friend that you have that could get you into pink entry.
Maybe.
But Fairy is saying that the shells became Professors of Laughter, so there's more entry there.
Yeah. That's fair enough.
And yellow and pink are just stupid colors. You should just ban those colors.
You would hit multiple different kinds of decks by doing that.
So you don't make Silverstream sad. She's never been sad before.
She's never
been lumbar support before.
What?
Silverstream has served as a pillow in one case.
Oh.
Well, look, we're not horrible enough to put plushes at the table and be like, I need some water for this thing over here. So they're going to chill on the back of the chair.
That's fair. Really cool list. I like seeing what people have come up with, and man, there's a lot of yellow experimentation going on right now. So far, we have not seen any decks submitted for orange.
Well, we have actually seen a deck submitted for orange, which is from Animoy, but on account of that's also his Coco list, I don't think we want to show that at the moment.
Sure, since the tournament is still ongoing, that's fair.
Yes.
Well, we can definitely highlight that maybe at the end of the Coco stream when we go over those results.
Yeah, I think that sounds fair.
There are some orange decks that have been created, and there are a number of decks that I think we've all kind of experimented with off and on. We haven't even touched on Spell for that pink mid-range tempo.
I get this feeling that you're not happy with all the pink that you're about to have to deal with.
It just all does different things, you know?
Even
it's
like
not just
removes your stuff, like, and then removes your stuff.
And then has eccentric, and then draws you cards, and
then removes a few more of your stuff.
Yeah.
And then steals all your things, and then removes your stuff.
Questionable honk.
Honk?
Questionable.
Blue Fairy says she always builds pink decks, and that's true. You also build a lot of yellow decks.
Well, yes.
Funny, considering what we're looking at.
Yep, and played combo that one time.
Yes, it's like those are good colors or something.
Uh-huh. Do we have any other decks to review for this evening's stream?
I don't think so, on account of wanting to not give a hilarious advantage to Animoy's upcoming opponent here.
That's fair. There are several decks that can end up using other colors. I think what might be interesting before we close things out for today is just to talk about the direction or the archetype, or maybe just the basic strategy that you might apply to some of these other colors in the core meta now. Just off the top of your head. We could even go around the table. Cheese, what do you think you would try to do with blue in the current meta? Would you go for a heavier aggro direction or more frighten?
Right now, in core, I'd want to. I don't think there's enough to support farm.
I got an answer for this one though.
But I'd look at frighten, but I think I'd have to go for aggro over blue.
Now,
all right, what's your thought?
Now, this is 100%. There's going to be that blue-white
hats. Yes,
hats monstrosity. That I am loath to admit that Flitter might be right for once, in that there is a hats deck that is going to be infuriating.
Rainbow Dash always dresses in style.
Rainbow Dash always dresses in style.
The next 15 minutes of the stream will just be that 3-second loop all over again.
Don't tempt me.
Yeah, you gotta go hats with blue right now. At least until we find out how competitive it really is. I mean, you always have your blue fast aggro that you can fall back on, but come on, hats might actually be competitive here. You gotta give it a try.
That's fair.
And it's not like white doesn't have a bunch of really good aggro cards in it.
Very true. And we saw blue-white do very well at Continentals this year, so we know that that deck can still function, and most of its key pieces are still here.
You're talking about the Frightened deck, right?
Uh-huh.
That was...
Zomponies and Torch, and blue just got 2 more cheap Frightened cards.
And it got a good way to turn Frighten into hard removal.
Uh-huh.
Well, Torch kinda did that.
And he still does.
Does that, I should say.
It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Cheese, what about, let's see what's next. Orange. Orange is the tricky one.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody's going to build the farming deck. There's a farming deck. There always is.
There's a power deck. It's just it's so vulnerable.
I think I would probably go exhaust control.
Okay. So you'd go the exhaust control route made with like grubbers and fumes.
Grubber,
and...
fume, new main, things like that.
Okay. And obviously there's a big power deck like you're talking about, Cheese, with Limestone and Rescue Party and just the big
Yeah.
Oh god, that sounds disgusting.
Aura, you've got the farm deck, as you mentioned, which is going to use some of the exhaustion synergy plus just huge flips. Here's the real question. Do you think there is an orange aggro deck that exists out there? And what do you think the viability of something like orange-white aggro is?
Orange-white is... I keep thinking that sooner or later someone is going to come up with an orange-white deck because it just keeps getting decent-looking cards.
Didn't we play around with this in the past?
Yeah, we had an Octavia orange deck that worked okay.
There was orange-white back in Crystal Games.
No, not that. I mean, yes, that I guess.
That was great, though.
That was
like, but with all the multicolor stuff, like there's all these really good orange-white cards. It just never fires for some reason.
Yeah, we might be getting close to hitting critical mass on that deck with Smolder and Sandbar, Follow My Lead, Sludge, Parachute is just such a huge inclusion. Rock Hoof. Maybe.
I'm not sold on it, but it'd be interesting to take a look at.
I think it would be difficult to do as an orange main, but it might still work. We'd have to see. That's the question. Do we need to say anything about purple?
Give me that purple aggro list.
Books. God, I love books.
Purple will continue to do what it does best.
And gain more AT than you.
As well as manipulate at the top of its deck.
That's fair.
And gain AT as it does so.
Well, I mean, if you're getting AT doing that, then you kind of messed up your top deck, but...
I mean, maybe you really, really need AT for what's in your hand.
I'll be curious to see if Purple Farm can make a return. Patagium is a huge boost to Professor Twy.
Oh, didn't it, Purple Farm lost something really important, though.
It lost Bookish backup, but it also gained Buckball strategy.
I don't know, because the farm strategy with Bookish backup, the fact that you could just drop something into play at immediate speed was kind of important.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know. I think the deck's going to suffer badly for lacking Bookish backup.
Well, Bookish backup turned out to not be the defining feature as for whether or not the deck would do well in core. It had Bookish backup then. So
right, but at that point we were dealing with a Harmony version that had access to Spike Take a Letter, and that was stupid.
That was stupid. Although the other thing you ran into was there just weren't enough points going around for the core version of Purple Farm of Ag Steadies to succeed. And now not only are you running Staff, which you were always doing, but now you have Crown of the Sibling Supreme. It's a lot better than the Luna. I don't know. It's still an uphill battle, but maybe something to look at.
Time will tell, I think.
White?
I mean, blue-white aggro, hats.
What we've talked about already.
Yeah.
Yellow, white, pink, white, purple, white, orange, white. Actually, I don't think we mentioned a color that it wouldn't go well with.
White has always been a secondary color. Except for Premier.
Yes, true.
And EO for a little bit, I think.
We'll have to see. Coco will be just about wrapping up by the time our next stream takes place, so maybe we'll have results by then. Their matches in early, and we can see what the beginning of the meta might look like.
That's going to... round 3 went out earlier today because everyone got their matches turned in, right?
Round 3 or round 2?
Round 3.
Nice.
So, yeah. We look forward to seeing what's in there. It'll be interesting.
Yes, indeed. For now, though, I think we can wrap up our topic, or our discussion on this topic for today. And of course, we'd like to give a big shout out to all of our patrons on Patreon, including those we featured decks from today. Thank you so much for your regular support.
And including the one of those that we will feature a deck from soon.
We haven't forgotten you, Animoy. If you aren't currently a patron, you enjoy what we do, please consider donating. Doing so does enable us to continue making content like this. If you have comments or questions you'd like to send our way, or if you're just interested in hearing about what we're working on for the future, there are many ways you can stay in contact. We have our Patreon, as mentioned previously, but you can also reach us through Facebook, Twitter, and email. And patrons at or above the $5 per month level also get access to our Slack channel, where you can chat live with us any day, anytime, holidays permitting. And if you're looking to watch any of our previous videos, including tournament recordings, you can find them on our YouTube channel, which is linked in the sidebar, and please make sure to subscribe so we can have a channel URL that makes some amount of sense. With all that said, thank you to each and every one of our viewers, both here now and watch recording later. We are, as always, Commentary Magic. I am, as always, Grandpaws.
Big Cheese.
Arcat and...
Ivory Starlight. Oh, and yellow is aggro and will always be aggro. Sorry, yellow control players.
Sorry, so cool.
Well,
We'll see you all in 2 weeks.
if you just give him a bedtime replacement...
He's not getting a bedtime replacement.
Not yet.